We are living every parent's worst nightmare. I know that you feel like you can't do it sometimes. You can't feel this pain. You can't go on. I know sometimes you feel like you have to. Maybe you have other children. I know there's times where you feel joy, or at least you want to feel joy. It's all so confusing. It doesn't make sense having to bear the pain of losing a child. My name's Christy Bundukumara. I happen to be a psychiatric nurse practitioner, but that does not give me authority in this space. What gives me authority is that I have lost children. I've actually lost 3 children over the course of 17 years. And as you think about your loss and you feel alone, that no one could possibly understand, I not only understand, but I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out, how do we find joy? How do we find purpose? And I am going to share the 3 things that I constantly go back to. In losing my children, I lost a child in 2005 in a drowning accident. And then my son was diagnosed with a very rare neurodegenerative condition. And so I fought for his life for many years and never really grieved. When my son died in 2016, I began teaching some of the things that I continue to teach, of that we have to feel this pain, that we can't ignore the pain. But I can tell you, my most recent and most devastating loss was my daughter Maya, December 14th, 2021. And it was a Tuesday morning. And I woke up and I peeked in her room, and she looked like she was laying there restful. I got ready for work. And before I left for work, I went to wake her. And although she had the same disorder that my son had passed from 5 years previous, she was actually very healthy. Her seizures were controlled. She was very happy during the day. She had a wonderful life. And I went to wake her up, and she was dead. She died in her sleep. No chance for me to fight for her. No chance for me to rush her to the hospital. She died in her sleep hours prior. And I'll spare you the details of my trauma of that morning. But I know if you either witnessed or found or saw your child dead, you have trauma from experiencing that. And I thought I knew how to do it. I had already lost children. I was already teaching people how to grieve. And the first thing that I've been saying for a long time, ever since Reggie's death, is you have to feel the pain. We don't want to feel pain. And this pain is too much. But you have to feel the pain. I remember a very distinct aha moment for me was about 6 months after Maya passed. And here I have this clinic. I teach about grief. And I realized I have not even started grieving Maya's death. Like, not even started. I was still in kind of this shock, fight or flight response. And I wasn't feeling the pain of Maya's death at all. And so that number one thing that I say everybody has to do, 6 months later, I still hadn't started. And so at that time, I did what I call the 45 days of grief. And I took 45 days and I grieved every day from the anniversary of Reggie's death to the anniversary of Maya's death. And, you know, we now have a documentary about that. And I learned so much during that time. And what I learned during that time gives me the other 2 things that I talk about in how to grieve, right? So I said the first thing is feeling the pain, and I take the time and I feel the pain. And some of that is just sharing here on this video with you and remembering that morning and remembering her. And part of that is feeling that pain. The second thing is learning how to take care of yourself. And that's including treatment. If you watch my documentary, you'll see that, you know, halfway through it, I allowed myself to be diagnosed with PTSD and realizing that I needed additional support, additional help. So in feeling this kind of horrible pain, you may experience true depression. I even got to a point where I had fleeting thoughts of suicide. And if any parent is honest with themselves that has lost a child, you've probably been there. So I can't just say, feel the pain like it's going to go away. The second thing is you got to learn how to take care of yourself. And that's different for everyone. Sometimes that's professional intervention. Sometimes it's figuring out what actually feeds your soul. What do you enjoy doing? I remember as I was going through this, I was also turning 50 years old and had spent the last previous, 15 to 17 years raising children. I didn't even know what I enjoyed, what filled my cup, what brought me joy outside of being a mother, right? Because oftentimes when we're a mother, like that's our number one goal, to be a good mother. And so in the midst of feeling the pain, you've got to also learn how to take care of yourself, because feeling that pain is exhausting. We have to know how to feel the pain and fill our cup, feel the pain and fill our cup. Because if we just sit around feeling the pain, there's nothing else but depression. And this has got to be a conscious choice. And the third thing I'm absolutely adamant about, that, and we don't talk about it enough, but it is crucial in the loss of a child, is finding a spiritual connection, an eternal connection with your child. When I was going through my grief journey, I researched a lot of grief theories, and I looked into attachment theories and eternal theories. And those were the two that really resonated with me, that it is different to lose a child. And, that there is an attachment to your child that is more than just time spent. It is a physical attachment, especially for a mother, that this child came out of your body, that there was, oxytocin hormones that fostered an attachment. And to feel like that is broken is so much pain. And I'll share a little bit of my journey spiritually. When I lost Reggie, he came to me and said to me, "Mama, you think you're so smart. You have no idea." And he was talking about this eternal contentment that he, in his passing, is experiencing. Whether you call that heaven, it doesn't matter what you call it. But Reggie was sharing with me this eternal peace. Contentment is the only word I can come up with. And I remember very distinctly rationalizing that experience that I had with Reggie. That, within the context of my Christian faith, that, maybe God used Reggie's voice to let me know he was okay, or God allowed Reggie to speak to me for a little second, but that I would never have that again. And I can tell you, the blessing that I've received from losing more than one child is that all of that is out the window. When I lost Maya, I needed to connect with her. I couldn't rationalize it. And some of the things that she shared with me are forever mine and her relationship. And in some of my videos, I share specifics about what she shared with me. But right now, it's not about my experience with my daughter. What I'm saying is, if you have lost a child, try to strip away your belief systems about what happens after death and try to make a true connection. That is what is truly healing. I've gone through feeling the pain. I've gone through personal development treatment and professional treatment. And what really brings me joy and allows me to know that I am well is my eternal connection with my children. So those are the three things. And I have lots of grief videos. I have a grief course you can, participate in for free. I talk a lot about the Mentally Strong Method, which is courses that you learn actually how to take care of yourself and learning those things. One of the main thing that came out of my 45 days of grief is the 5 selves. And I have a series of videos on that, but really learning how to take care of yourself, self-care, self-improvement, self-movement. Movement is what brings these things out of the body. Spiritual self, really knowing who you are and finding that eternal connection. You can do this.